We'll begin this morning with a Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to the October 31st, 2024 meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. Happy Halloween. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair this year of the County Commission. Joining me today is Commissioner Aaron Mays. Good morning.
Morning.
Commissioner Bill Rippon. Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Brazon is filling in for Mr. Eckert as our Assistant County Counselor.
Good morning.
We have down at the end, filling in for Miss Beck, Miss Otto.
Good morning.
And so, Miss Otto, kick us off.
Okay, item 3, consent agenda.
There are several items on the consent agenda. I might note that we have several letters of support for different agencies. And so, are there any questions or are there motion?
I'll move to approve. I'll second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk. Number 1, consider all voucher payments.
This morning vouchers totaling $2,769,239.05. Nothing out of the ordinary on there, so I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, motion seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Number 2, there are no correction orders.
Okay. Our next item.
Okay. Item B, District Attorney. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-349-2024, a 60-month vehicle lease agreement with Enterprise Fleet Management, quote number 8404364, for a Chevrolet Equinox LT 4-door all-wheel drive.
Good morning, Commissioners. Happy Halloween. I will let you know, Commissioner Mays, just before the meeting, asked me what I was dressing as this year. And it reminds me, my youngest, he's 7. He asked me the same question 2 days ago. I said, I'm going to go as a dad. And he said, well, that's no fun. So, happy Halloween. We are going through our investigator fleet and pursuant to the direction that the previous county administrator gave me in my office, instead of purchasing the vehicles, we are now moving towards leasing all the vehicles because of the long-term cost benefits that provides.
And the reason why it's on the agenda today as opposed to consent is because it extends beyond the length of the term of office. We have to approve it just as a regular item. And that's pursuant to our advice of the counselor's office and audit finance. I might also note that dressing as the district attorney is the scariest outfit in Shawnee County.
Agree.
So,
I don't disagree.
Commissioner Mays?
Also, something to note on here is that just because the contract is for 5 years doesn't necessarily mean we're going to keep the car for 5 years. This enterprise program, sometimes they'll take them back a year after we buy them.
That's right.
Or lease them, so
Yeah.
that's it.
Yep. Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item C, Department of Corrections. Number 1, request approval to prepare and issue specifications for selecting a company to provide food service within the adult and juvenile detention centers beginning in October 2025.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. It's that time of year that we're ending. Here, we're within a year of our current contract for food services at the Department of Corrections. We want to get an early jump on being able to set our specifications and get this RFP out in case there is, not saying there will be, in case there is any turnover or a change of a new company. We just want to be able to give ourselves plenty of time to get this out, but it is, we are ready to put this back out for an RFP to see what's out there.
Okay.
Stand for any questions you may have.
Questions?
How long of term are we looking at for this?
Typically, we do about usually a 4-year contract with the possibility of sometimes going up to another 2. And so we had that. The current contractor did make some physical plant investments into the agency, and that's why this was a little longer. But usually, most of them were about 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I'll make a motion to approve the request for approval.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Number 2, consider authorization and execution of contract C-346, 2024 with Cornerstone On Demand, Inc. for Department Training System Management Software. The initial year cost will be $37,306.50, with approximately 5% increases for the second and third years to be paid from the detention training budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. This request is for a 3-year agreement with Cornerstone On Demand to provide a comprehensive training system software for us. This will allow us to have a single location to develop, to deliver, and to track all of our training, which often comes up in any type of accreditation, audit, or litigation. Since we're in the field, we get this gets a lot of scrutiny when it comes to training and things like that. The better we're able to track our system, the better, the more reliable and more efficient it is to provide for these trainings. It also gives us a national-wide training resource and library that we incorporate into our training center. This is specialized to corrections. In the field of corrections, this will really enhance our training and delivery, because often with the staffing, we've had to do a lot of things over just computers, and we're trying to move away from that. So this is going to allow us just to continue our work with Washburn University and just to really track and specialize our training. And I stand for any questions you may have.
Questions? I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Number 3, consider authorization and execution of contract C-347, 2024 with Foley Equipment for annual inspections of the department's 5 generators at an annual cost of $19,868.45 to be paid from the detention budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. This is a request approval of agreement with Foley Equipment to continue our annual inspections of our generators. That this is a local vendor, and these are required by law and our standards to have these generators inspected for emergencies, for life-saving services and stuff at the jail. So this is just an annual renewal of this contract, and we're satisfied with the service that we get.
Questions?
Yep, I'll move for approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Number 4, consider authorization and execution of contract C-348, 2024 with Johnson Controls, Inc. for the annual service of the department's HVAC control system in the amount of $14,994 to be paid from the detention budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. Request to approve a 3-year agreement with Johnson Controls to continue our maintenance of all of our HVAC systems at the Department of Corrections. They manage the controls of the majority of all of our large rooftop units, which is something we have to do. And again, it's a part of our inspections and our quality maintenance of our operation at the department facility.
Questions? Commissioner Mays.
Question's probably more for Nelda. So if we're just doing a contract for the inspection of the AC units on one building, I mean, do we have to do this on all of our buildings? And if so, can we just do one contract countywide in the future?
Now, I was going to say, I don't know if we have, Johnson Controls is not what others have. I don't know.
Well, Commissioners, Nelda Henning, Director of Facilities. We do use Johnson Controls, but they don't inspect our HVAC. We do that internally. So I don't know if Brian has other requirements because of the type of location he has, but we aren't required to do it, so we do it internally.
Okay. Thank you. Is this something you're required to do then, or?
As far as I know, yes. I can certainly talk to Major Phelps, who's over our physical plant, and ask him if this is something we're required to do. I hate to use the adage of it's something we've always done. This has been a contract that we've had back in the day, even back when I was a captain, of somebody coming in and inspecting all of our HVAC things. I certainly, if we want to table it, and I can get with Tim next week and we can put it back on, if that's the wish of the commissioners, I can certainly do that.
Yeah, I'd feel more comfortable if we defer this for 1 week and then maybe have Nelda's folks take a look and see if it's something they're capable
Absolutely.
of doing, if you're all right with that, Nelda. So I'll make a motion that we table this for 1 week.
Motion to defer for 1 week.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. We'll come back to this in 1 week.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Our next item.
Item D, Parks and Recreation, number 1. Approval is requested by Parks and Recreation on the Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks Recreational Trails Program 80/20 Grant Agreement to proceed with a portion of the Family Park Trail. KDWP will obligate up to $141,663.50, 80% for the project. Parks and Recreation will commit building maintenance fees, or building maintenance funds, $35,415.88, 20% for the project, totaling $177,079.38 for the project.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Laurent, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation Department. As the clerk said, we're asking permission to accept this grant that we were awarded by the Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks to do some trail work here at Family Park. I'm sorry that I don't have this a little larger. Stephanie's gone today. She's making me run the computer, and that's not a good situation. Anyway, this yellow line that you see here, this orange line, is essentially, will hook up with the existing sidewalk that we have now, almost to the point where if you could visualize where the pickleball courts have been installed, this is about right where you exit the pickleball courts on that side. And so there is this existing sidewalk that you can barely see in this photo. So that would connect there, it would meander through the park and then connect back over here on 21st Street, which essentially would create a big loop with the existing sidewalks. This is a 10-foot walking path, and our portion of the funds will be paid out of building maintenance. It's a 20% of the total cost, which is $35,415.88. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Are there sidewalks currently on 21st Street?
There are.
Okay.
There are, and you can see them in there, but I realize the picture's not real big.
To the west of where Family Park is, I believe there's some housing developments that are going in. At one point, we had talked about even connecting with those housing developments with our
Yeah.
trail. Is that a future plan?
It definitely is. I think we've got some more work to do there, but yeah, we could envision sort of, another path that would come off of this and then head down towards that neighborhood. Commissioner Mays and I talked about this a little bit yesterday. I think there might be a situation where we'll have to try to acquire some property or some sort of easement to be able to connect. But yes, we'd definitely like to do that.
With the design of the trail as it is it going to impact our future development? I know that there's a number of different things that we've talked about in different phases. I mean, this was just phase one with the pickleball and the playground. We've talked
Right.
about bark parks, we've talked about bicycle pump tracks, we've talked
Right.
about different grand lawns, outdoor
Sure.
facilities, so.
Well, no, we don't believe this will impact, and we used the master plan that we put together a few years ago to lay this out. So we think this would fit in nicely with those future amenities. If we're fortunate enough to do them.
Questions?
No.
Commissioner Rippon?
Yeah, in the future too, I would look for some kind of connectivity to the parking lot as well. People would drive there and then jump on the trail.
Well, there, actually, I'm glad you bring that up. There is a connection there, because you don't see it on the map, but if
I see
if we had some up-to-date GIS imagery, you would see Family Park, and we've got that loop that we did, then it does connect to the loop.
Okay,
So.
very good.
Okay. And this is for the application through the state of Kansas.
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions? Motion?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item 5, public comment.
This is an opportunity for any member of the public to address the commission.
Don't let me cut anybody off. Henry McClure, Topeka, Kansas, Shawnee County. Trick or treat, man. Hey, it's almost over. Election time. But you know what? I've really been thinking about it. It's just beginning. And if you're going to be a public servant, it can't be just during election time. It's a full-time job. And I think that once the Metropolitan Planning Commission was disbanded, I got jaded and disgruntled as a human. Plus, number one, it was never fun being on the Metropolitan Planning Commission because no matter how you voted, you made somebody angry. But you guys know what that's like. And that was tough duty. But I learned more about how the system worked being on the Metropolitan Planning Commission. And that's something that we need to do now. We really need to put it back together. No matter how the election turns out, we need to put that Metropolitan Planning Commission back together because that's good for the community because it engages everybody. We had our first meeting about the Citizens Committee that a fellow brought up the other day during revenue neutral meeting, and he kind of left angry. But we're digging into the statute, and we're going to see if that's legitimate. He says it's 5 years in arrears of not having the Citizens Committee up and going, so we're digging into it. We're going to find out everything that we know about it. You know, it might be the next Lawrence Bay. I'm also looking forward to meeting Jim Klossman next Thursday, to find out how he's doing on his RHID. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you support. It doesn't matter who donates. We still got to serve the people. We'll get him to pay his taxes. We will. We'll get it out of him some way, or we'll take the land away from him, as we should. I'll tell you the most beneficial thing that I've learned since coming to these meetings was getting to know Brian Hill, and that the security systems that we have, to where you can buy, a citizen can buy a security system, a piece of hardware, and for a small annual subscription, you can have 4 cameras up and going pretty quick. I mean, for under $500. I'm looking into the cameras. Even Jimbo said he'd pay for one of the cameras. I'm going to point it at his building at my office. And so the Fuchsia's thing, everybody ought to be doing that. We ought to be encouraging the private sector to make an investment in your community and hook up to the sheriff's plan. If you, that's probably been one of the most fun little field trips I've had, to get down in the law enforcement center and see that. It's awesome. I'll tell you where I've won. I went to a dinner last night with the real estate people, and they told me that they feel Topeka is in the commercial real estate business. And it's taken me this long to get them to see that. And that to me is a huge win. I've not been a part of the realtors because the commercial real estate business is just so much different. And I think shame on me. I started selling real estate 44 years ago, and it's maybe 45. And I probably should have joined that association just to be with those people and help them. But I've agreed to retire my real estate license based on the election. And because I don't want to have the appearance of a conflict of interest. But some people said they were at a meeting the other day, and a gentleman from either the Greater Topeka Partnership or the Chamber were telling how this riverfront thing was going to go through, and we're going to do that thing, and like it's already decided. And that's really going to be a bad use of our tax dollars. We need to be figuring out something today, like they do in California. One of the neatest things I liked about living in California was Proposition 13, where once you buy your house, whatever you paid for it is the taxing rate going forward. So then that way, the guy that bought the home that could afford it at that day, they're not taxed out of it later because of appraisals and changes in the market. I mean, just because a guy, market is what a guy will pay and what a guy will sell. But that maybe not really be reflective of the community. Like today, where Whataburger and Chick-fil-A are going, the city's making us bring the road standards up to 2052 standards. Well, wait a minute. If we look at the last 20 years, we don't need as much road. This is adding $1.5 million onto the project, the burden, to fix roads that don't need to be fixed. They won't even let us use, because you can extrapolate sales volumes into trip generation. And we can't use what Half Price Store did 14 million in sales volume. I know that because I worked for the guys that owned the building, and they had to report sales to us, where Gordman's is. I know the sales volumes of White Lakes because I worked for the company that used to own it. And they won't let us extrapolate those sales volumes of White Lakes, Pennies, all the, they won't let us use those numbers to the California consulting company that charges $1 million a year. And they're putting $1.5 million on the burden onto the developer, and it's really unfair. And we got to figure out how to make it to where that doesn't happen. What's really crazy about what's going on right now in my life is I'm spending my Whataburger commission to serve the people. And it seems like some of the people that I'm up against are people that should be supporting guys like me. But I feel good about it. I feel good about it. If you've ever played craps, life is almost like a crapshoot. I got the dice right now, and however they come out, it's okay. You got to learn to ride the table. And I just wish the election were more about ideas and not mailers and signs and hate, maybe. I got this the other day, and I thought, well, I need to go down to the river to watch you park the waters to build that iconic bridge. But you can't take credit for all the good things without admitting the downside of things, because some days you roll craps. But we as developers, we have to pay for when they rake all the money off the table. And most of the time, it's because of government regulation. And if you're only as good as your last deal, which you really are, you're only as good as your last deal. I'll take Chick-fil-A, Whataburger, and Panda Express. The Panda Express going on at Rochester and 25, and then what's going on in the Boulevard. Those, I'll stake those. That's what I'm funding. I'm trying to fight to come in here to help y'all. But let's not, I really want to know, I've asked you, I've emailed you, and I've called you. I want to know what is the downside of the lawsuit that's at the Court of Appeals. You know, that's what's important, and how that thing's going to shake out. But we ought to be talking about that. That's some important stuff. But what I do know is there's a lot of work to be done, and it doesn't end tomorrow. It doesn't end Tuesday night. So thank you for the opportunity to speak with you. Trick or treat.
Any other public comment this morning? Our next item.
Item 6, administrative communications.
This is an opportunity for any department head or employee to address the commission on any item.
Morning, Commissioners. Lieutenant Wanamaker with the Sheriff's Office. As you guys know, we were going to be hosting our second annual K-9 games this Sunday. Due to the predicted forecasted weather and for the safety of the patrons, our vendors, and ourselves, we are going to postpone those K-9 games. We're looking at the spring of 2025 to do that. We just don't have a date set yet, but once we get that set, we will make sure that everybody's aware of it. Just wanted you guys to be aware that it's not going to be occurring this Sunday.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jake Fisher, Shawnee County Election Office. Just want to remind everyone that early voting is going on today until 7 p.m. tonight at our election office at 3420 Southwest Van Buren. We will have voting taking place all day tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then we'll be wrapping up on Monday, November the 4th, the day before Election Day. We will be going from 8 a.m. to noon. Just to remind everyone, we have to stop the voting at noon on Monday the 4th by statute so that we can get ready for Election Day on Monday or on Tuesday. And also want to remind anyone who still has a mail-in ballot that they have not returned, they should probably bring that to our office to have dropped off right now because it has to be postmarked by Tuesday the 5th and received in our office no later than 3 days afterwards. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions?
Nope.
All right.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Sutton, Shawnee County Solid Waste. I'd like to remind the Commission and the general public that we'll be open this Saturday for our Saturday collection event at the HHW from 9 until noon. So feel free to bring out any household hazardous waste or electronic waste for drop-off for free. The only thing that we do charge for is CRT monitors and TVs if someone still has one of those in their basement, and that is a flat $40 fee, card only. So the address is 131 Northeast 46th Street, and for more information, please call 286-4381. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Any other administrative communications this morning? Commissioner Riplon.
Just be careful out there with all those trick-or-treaters.
Yes.
And have a happy Halloween.
Agreed. Commissioner Mays.
Well, I know Jake talked about early voting. I had the opportunity to go early vote yesterday, the day before, I don't remember which, but anyways, it was like a beehive in there. It's crazy how busy they are right now, and so kudos to all the people at the election office working there. I know they're all at the end of their rope right now. It's a busy, busy time for them. Also, I think the sheriff and the emergency management have been helping out up there as well. So thank you to them. And, get out and vote. Only a few more days to do it. So keep up the good work.
I agree. And good luck everybody out there, and thank you for all that have come out to early vote. It seems like it's going very smoothly, and the elections office is doing an excellent job. I do have one additional item. I don't often say Mr. McClure is right, but today I will admit Mr. McClure is right. We often take credit for the things that go right. Sometimes we have to also acknowledge the things that aren't going right. Unfortunately, Shawnee County does not have a long history of saying, usually our public works projects come in ahead of schedule, under budget. But we have a project that is now behind schedule. On 46th Street at the roundabout, it was to be completed last Friday. This is a project that was let out and to be started in April. Sunflower Paving had through April through last Friday, October 25th, to have the roundabout complete. Unfortunately, Sunflower Paving did not meet that deadline, so it is still under construction. Question comes up, what happens now? At this time, Sunflower Paving is incurring daily penalties of $1,300 per day. That is soon to change to $2,000 per day. So we have liquidated damages that Sunflower Paving is being assessed. There's also other collateral consequences that could be applied to Sunflower Paving for not completing the project. So this is a project that we are continuing to work with Sunflower Paving to get done. We want the residents to know this is something that we are very much working with the contractor to make sure it is completed. We apologize for the inconvenience in not having this completed on time because it does inconvenience. When road construction projects get delayed, anybody who's driven over the Westgate Bridge, well, anybody who's traveled in Shawnee County just in general feels the pains of road construction at this time. And so we do want you to know that we are aware of it and we are on top of it. So, thank you. Our next item.
Executive sessions.
There is not a need for an executive session, so we are adjourned.